and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Millie and I love any makeup, especially shiny, shifty, and sparkly eyeshadows. And today I'm going to be talking about some new products from Drizzle that are launching this Saturday, May 14 at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And these will be launching alongside the MILF palette, which I have a dedicated video on this. And the other products that they're going to be launching are some more liquid eyeshadows as well as whipped flakies. So we have these kinds of liquid eyeshadows in these components. These are like a new component. These are basically like super iridescent, and I'm going to be swatching these for you. I'm not going to use those all over the lid. I'm going to use them as inner corner highlights in this video, and then these are just a little bit more like on the pastel side, which I'm actually wearing two of these on the lid right now, and I'm pretty sure that I have pretty much all the rest of the liquid multichrome eyeshadows that they have. I love to do reels with them. They're just super fun. And then the last product type, which is new to Drizzle, is the whipped flakies, which are in this jar, and they're basically flaky suspended in gel form. We have seen this quite a few times from a bunch of different brands, and of course I'm going to show you some swatch comparisons to Shall We as well as Dennis Amarix and also Unearthly Cosmetics, so definitely stay tuned for that in case you already have some of those shades from those other brands, but you also want to try these out, and I will give you my thoughts on these. And thank you so much to Drizzle for sending these to me in PR to try out. And these will all retail for $16 each, and you can use my affiliate code AMILLY10 to save some money off in case you're interested in them. So I'm going to be doing two looks with the whipped flakies, really just featuring them, and then the third look, which is this look, I'm going to be using the liquid shadows, and then of course at the end of the video I'll give you some of my thoughts. So let's get right into it. So I thought these would be actually a lot more similar than they are. If anything, it's funny because we found a dupe to a Laser Beam from Dennis Amarix, which is the shade 10 from Unearthly Cosmetics, though definitely would say that the formula is different on them, but they look basically identical. So no direct dupe to I'm a Mermaid. I do think that these are basically identical formula-wise, the way that they look, the shift as well. These are also definite dupes. Again, not with the formula. Dennis Amarix is a bit different. The reason Whisper looks a little bit lighter is because it actually separated, so it's a little bit liquidy, and I didn't mix it together, but it would be the same opacity as these other two shades. So if you had your eye on this shade, because I know that this shade was the first shade to actually sell out when they first launched these, then definitely try one of these out. Dipping into the first Creepy Cute palette, going in with Cold Shoulder. Really just want to play with layering these over these pastel tones, because these are really best used just a tiny bit at a time. I would not recommend using a lot to get like a thick layer. You might have issues with that, maybe depending on your eye shape though, so of course you can try it. Going in with Switchblade all over my lid, and this is from the Creepy Cute 2 palette. And it's just gonna go all over the lid and blend into Cold Shoulder. A little bit of fallout, hopefully that won't be too much of an issue. I'm going to take just a little bit out here. Oh, look how pastel and beautiful these are. Taking Switchblade and connecting my lower lash line, and then I'm gonna go in with Cold Shoulder under the rest. Whoa, I haven't used the original Creepy Cute in a while, and every time it's just such a pleasure to use. So I'm going in with Frozen, stuck to the lid. Make sure you keep the lids on, and I'm going to really try to pick up literally this much. I'm just gonna start at the front of my lid and slowly swipe it outwards. Okay, I might want a little bit more, just going on the outer half. Just kind of tapping it on, making sure I'm really dispersing it evenly. And while that's drying, make sure you don't open your lid. And I'm gonna go in with Twirly as the inner corner and under the brow highlight. Oh yeah, can't look up. I'm going to use my finger to just disperse it a little bit, and then I'm going to go underneath my brow and just tap it out. That is so pretty. This would make an amazing face highlight, I feel like. Here's the finished look. Taking Strawberry Milk right into the crease from the Creepy Cube palette. Blending it outwards a little bit. And then packing on Safe Word from the second Creepy Cube palette right all over the lid. Just a little bit out here. Kind of blending it up into Strawberry Milk. Taking Safe Word to connect my outer corner. Going in with Planchette on the rest of the lower lash line. There's also a purple shift in the shade I'm about to put on, so I thought I would. It's a little bit of a murkier kind of pastel purple. Picking up Stars in Heaven. Oh my god, it's so shiny. This is about how much I picked up on a flat synthetic brush. And I'm just going to repeat what I did on the other eye. Just trying to really disperse it through swiping, tapping. And done. I mean, that was pretty quick. Using Whirly as the inner corner highlight. This one is like white, okay? That would make a really nice, just like super spotlighty kind of shade, kind of highlight. And then just a little bit under my brow, and I'm going to tap it out to blend it. And here's the finished look. For the third look, I'm priming with the Gimme Glow Eyeshadow Primer. Dipping into Banana Milk from the Creepy Cute 2 palette, and it's gonna go right into my inner crease. Just kind of building it up, little by little. I'm taking Alien Queen on the outer corner. And first just gonna lay it down like this. Then I wiped off my brush just a little bit, and I'm gonna blend it out. I love this color combination. Super fun. I'm going to go back in with a little bit more Alien Queen. And then taking that underneath my lower lash line to connect my outer corner. And going in with Tough Guy right under my lower lash line. Next I'm taking Ethereal Glow, and I am going to wipe off some of that on the edge of the tube so I'm not picking up too much. And these are super iridescent, as you can see, and they're really, really like light in texture. They're not like flaky like some of the other shades. And I'm just gonna take that right up against my inner crease. And then the same thing, wiping some off. Taking Seaside, ooh, so pretty. And putting that all over underneath. And I am going to add in another layer because these are super, super, super translucent. So I feel like I want just like a little bit more oomph. Going in with the second layer. Seaside as well. You can see that just gets a bit more opaque. But these are definitely very layerable. Here's a finished look. So first I'm going to talk about these swirly shades. I did not use these on my lid. I probably won't. It's not really something I do very often. So I can't speak on the wear time, but they seem to have a really good dry down formula, so I don't really see you having any issues unless you're putting on too much or you're not letting it completely dry down. But these are really beautiful. They do have some other iridescent type of shades that are actually in this packaging. However, they're actually pretty different from these because those have a completely transparent base, so you can use those as cheek highlighters. These, however, do have more of a white base, and you can see that from swatches, so probably not necessarily a cheek highlight depending on your skin tone. But these are going to be great for layering or doing inner corner, under the brow highlight kind of thing. So, but personally, I do think I prefer some of the other shades I have from them that are in the other packaging. So let's actually start talking about those next. So within the shades that I have that are in this packaging, there are a couple of different kinds of formulas. Some of them are a little bit almost chunky, a little bit on the flaky side, but like not as flaky by any means as the jar whipped Flakies, but they do have just a little bit more of a texture. And these new shades are on the very, very smooth side, and you can see that on my lid. They're pretty transparent, So while you can see a little bit of color while they are in this tube, I did feel like I wanted to put on 2 layers to really get the color payoff, which is not, you know, that could be my personal preference. You don't have to do that. You definitely can also have fun layering these over different kinds of matte eyeshadows, especially black eyeshadows, to really make them pop. So there's 2 yellows. One has like a green pink shift and the other one has like a peachy shift. So probably wouldn't say that you need both of these. I think I do prefer the slightly chunkier formula. They're so shiny. These just have a little bit less impact, but I love the shade Seaside. Really beautiful on the lid. Again, you could totally go with 1 layer if you just wanted like a wash of shine, but I really wanted to layer it and get more opacity out of it. Editing Millie here, some of these liquid shadows are, I feel like, not as shifty as some of the other shades that they have. So Seaside in particular, as well as some of the twirly kind of eyeshadows and Strawberry Punch as well. I don't know if I would call them a true multi-chrome. So let's talk about the whipped Flakies. Speaking purely just on experience and the way that they do feel just like the Unearthly Cosmetics Molten Chromes that are the flaky version, because they do have theirs split into, I think it's 6 Flakies and then 6 more like smooth black based type of multi-chromes. And if you watched that video, I did talk about how long those took to dry down, and these are the same thing. These take a very long time to dry down, and just when you think they're done drying down, they're not, and then they will crease on you. So you really have to use a very small amount, and then make sure that you are letting these dry down with your eyes closed before opening your eyes, especially if you have hooded eyes. If you don't have hooded eyes and you have deep set eyes or other type of eyelids, and you don't have just a general like skin folding on each other issue, then you're going to be totally fine. This is really just a PSA for anybody with hooded eyes and these kinds of flakies. I would actually mostly recommend putting these like all over your lid, but not necessarily anywhere near the crease. If you do have hooded eyes, I think you're just going to be less likely to experience any sort of issues. Once they dry down, like, they're pretty good, but you really have to make sure that they dry down. You can use thicker layer if you wanted to, but that's why I kind of did lighter swatches, because when you just dip your finger in to get a swatch, you will get like a more translucent effect, and you really would have to put on a lot to really get them to be opaque. I really like using these, just disperse them all over the lid like I did in the first and second look. I really feel like that's the most successful kind of way to use them, just a little bit at a time. Formula wise, I do think that I prefer the Devinah Marks just a little bit more, because you have just enough time to kind of move them around, but they do set like relatively quickly, at least much faster than these. But these have a much better price tag at $16 with a discount code of 10% off. And Devinah Marks, those are $25, and they rarely discount those. So I would say if you're interested in these kinds of flakies that are suspended in gel form, because they are just so much easier. Like, I know it sounds like they're a little finicky, but they're just so much easier to use than loose flakies. Like, I really tried making loose flakies work, but it's just not happening. So I really feel like these are just so much more user-friendly as long as you use a little bit. So if you're interested in this kind of product, definitely would say pick 1 or 2 shades and, you know, try it out and see how you like it, and then maybe buy more if you're really into it, if you really like the look of them. Also, just like I always say with anything that's in a jar, make sure you really close it tightly. You keep the little extra lid of protection inside. Some of them have like a foam in here as well, to really just make sure these don't dry out, because anything in a jar is just more likely to dry out faster than anything that is in a tube. And if you're interested in something flaky but not quite as flaky as these, then definitely recommend checking out some of their other shades. They're a little bit like on the flaky side without being like this level of flaky, and without being like this level of smooth, if that makes any sense. It's kind of just like a happy in between. And I also love that these are in a tube, and I love that they have a little doe foot applicator. It just makes them so easy to use. You can just swipe them on. I absolutely love these so much, especially the shade that I'm holding right now, Blue Raspberry Punch. I'm not sure if this is going to be restocking as well on Saturday, but if it is, definitely snag this one out of all the shades. I do have a dedicated video on these shades that I have from them, so I will link that down in the description box in case you're interested about those. So let me know in the comments below if you're interested in any of these. Will you be snagging them along with the MILF palette? I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribe. There's so much shiny, shifty, sparkly eyeshadow content uploading my channel, and much more to come. You don't want to miss out. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.